Hello everyone, I am a member of Teammate and today we're going to talk about how IT helps the environment. My team consists of 7 people, Suhaib, Yuan, Bisharat, Vino, Nikita, Sun and Eric. The topic of today's debate is it good for the environment? And our team's position is for. To start with, let's look at the concept of triple bottom line. For success of any country, organization or society, three main spectrums must be considered. First, economy, second, society, and third, the environment. The less the country is developed, the more the government focuses on the economy than society, and only after first two are more or less developed, the environment comes. This way the environmental issues are often left without attention, which however does not change their importance. Let's look at how ID contributes to the environment. ID educates people about environmental issues. It educates the general public on the importance of protecting environment, and education is a powerful tool to change the general public's mindset and behavior related to environment protection. For example, IT uses Earth Day and global warming information media as channels for raising awareness for environmental impacts. The first example of IT educating people is Earth Day. Google creates a unique doodle on Earth Day every year to bring it to public attention. Google is still most people's #1 search engine, and this action by Google will inspire a lot of people to know about and celebrate Earth Day. With the help of IT, Earth Day is now an international celebration around the globe. Here are some statistics on Earth Day. It was made an international celebration on March 21, 1971 by United Nations Secretary General U. It happens every year on April the 22nd, and every year there are 175 countries and 500 million people involved. Because of the impact of IT, people around the globe celebrate Earth Day every year. The first picture is about children in India put on the Save the Earth skit to celebrate the planet and to raise environmental awareness. In Kenya, Earth Day is celebrated along with the country's National Tree Planting Day. In China, people celebrate Earth Day every year with a theme. Last year, the theme was protection of geographic relics and scientific development. In conclusion, ID brings Earth Day to the attention of the people around the globe and inspires people to protect our environment. Another example of it bringing awareness to people is global warming. Global warming refers to the rising average temperature of Earth's atmosphere and oceans, which started to increase in the late 19th century and is projected to keep going up without significant mitigated policies. This picture illustrates that how the ocean temperature keeps going up in past decades and the trend is accelerating. Without ID knowledge, people won't know that global warming is happening and it is quickly changing the world climate. The Arctic is feeling the effect of global warming the most, since Arctic ice is rapidly disappearing and the region may have its first completely ice-free summer by 2040 or earlier. Polar bears and indigenous cultures are already suffering from the sea ice loss. Without this information delivered by ID channels, people who live in the warm area and have not visited the Arctic will never notice the impact of global warming. ID helps to spread information and ideas to mitigate global warming. One way is to limit greenhouse gas emission and reduce dependence on traditional fuel energy by utilizing renewable green energy. Because of the awareness brought by IT, people are willing to purchase electric cars, although they are more expensive. Battery charging takes a long time and their mileage is limited because they emit no air pollutants. The teacher plays an important role of motivating the students to make a better world for the future. The scope of IT is not restricted to the people within certain area, and rather it promotes awareness to the people worldwide. Therefore, IT brings people from around the world into the same platform to discuss or resolve worldwide issues, which helps in generating more useful and better results. Human activity and its effect on the environment are a two-way process. One affects the other and vice versa. ID has been able to mark out the changes that occur in the atmosphere along with a possible solution. ID helps spread an awareness to all corners of the world. We observe that if a research is conducted in one corner of the world, all others benefit from it and use it to make this world a better place to live. If IT does not help predict the depletion of natural resources, serious problems can occur. Effects of nuclear and radio transmission are controlled using information technology, and the people are educated in ways of dealing with them. In essence, ID works as a platform to share environmental issues with people around the world and to provide solutions for those issues to allow people around the world to solve or mitigate environmental problems.
IT has created many new mediums to share information, which saves a lot of papers and trees each and every year. Ebooks have saved over 3 million trees each year from making books. Ebooks not only saves trees but also removes all the manufacturing process in relation to it. That also means that no less disposal is required of each book. Emails are used everywhere to save papers and trees. On average, emails save over 2,400 trees daily. Also, it also reduces all the energy consumption from mailing processes as well. In fact, just a few weeks ago, Canada Post removed 1,000 of their street-level mailboxes as they've become obsolete. Another new recent technology are the digital photo frames, which have saved paper and ink from printing pictures.
One more positive effect that IT does on the environment is influence on governments and societies, which develop environmental protection laws and restrict pollution rates. Many corporations, especially in developing countries, do not pay attention on the environment when considering getting profit from projects such as opening a new mine, cutting down forests and similar. Very often, these kind of projects are implemented without interaction with general public, sometimes even illegally. At these times, IT plays a crucial role in protecting the environment by supplying the society with necessary information. Another aspect of IT in political and social area is opportunity to people, companies, or even entire countries to unite according to similar views and goals in environmental organizations or coalitions. Consider this example: Kyoto Protocol, which was adopted back in 1997 and which entered in force in 2005. More than 141 countries ratified this protocol in order to stabilize greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere by implementing billions of dollars in improvement of economical industries, implementations of new technologies, and therefore reduction in the global warming impact. Though currently some countries began to question the goals of this protocol, the idea of it is still relevant. In a global event like this, IT is the primary source of information and awareness. First time people started to consider CO2 emissions as a problem back in early 1900s. Ever since then, this problem has only been rising. As shown in the graph, the annual growth rate of CO2 emissions was 3.2% by the end of year 2000. After Kyoto Protocol entered in power, this number was decreased by 0.8% and keep going down. If IT continued to rise, the same issue of global warming among societies and governments, this trend will be maintained. One of many examples proving the positive influence of IT on the environment is East Siberia Pacific Ocean oil pipeline route in Russia that was developed next to Lake Baikal, the deepest and the clearest lake in the world. The initial plan was to install the pipeline 800 meters from the coast of the lake. This fact immediately spread it through the internet, attracting activists all over the world. After 2 months of constant opposition from the local citizens, Russian environmental activists, and even international organizations such as UNESCO and Greenpeace, the president of Russia claimed that the route of the pipeline will be moved 40 kilometers away from the lake. Though the total length of the new route increased by more than 500 kilometers, the final cost was in fact reduced due to investment from the oil factories and municipalities of the cities, located immediately next to the new route. In this particular case, economy, environment, and society all three benefited from influence of IT.
As an example, let's take a look at the initiatives that Google has taken on to ensure that their carbon footprint on the world is reduced. In order to power its massive data centers, Google has signed long-term power purchase agreements with power suppliers who utilize green sustainable solar and wind energy generating technologies. Moreover, Google has also been investing hundreds of millions of dollars in renewable energy projects to promote the sustainable energy as a whole. In total, Google has helped to generate more than 1.7 gigawatts of energy from sustainable resources, which is far more than is required for Google's operations. One major concern in relation to IT and its impact on the environment is the sustainability of the various data centers that are utilized to make the world of information sharing possible. Data centers have a reputation for consuming vast amounts of energy to maintain and operate. However, many of the corporations responsible for the largest data centers throughout the world are beginning to understand the consequences and have moved in a very positive and green direction. Another step that Google took to decrease energy consumption was investing millions of dollars in improving the efficiency of the various technologies utilized in data centers. By implementing new, efficient, but expensive technologies, Google was able to reduce the energy consumption of their data centers by more than 50% in comparison with the typical data center. Also, Google, along with many of the other major corporations around the world, have begun to build their data centers where they can more readily reject the heat generated within the facility. Google has built many of their servers near bodies of water to utilize free cooling by dissipating heat to the mildly filtered water. 2 of their data centers run on 100% recycled water already, and they're working on a third with a treatment system so that they can generate potable water for domestic use. Google is but one example of many of the largest corporations in the world making a move in the right positive green direction to reduce their impact and carbon footprint on the world. Microsoft, like Google, has also taken the initiative to reduce their carbon footprint with the implementation of smart building solutions. The conventional commissioning requires that the building engineers visit and audit each equipment and panel at each building, which is extremely time-consuming. Alternatively, Smart Building Optimization method provides a summary of the input received from each and every equipment and panel located within the campus and uploads it to an analytical table that is continuously updated. Smart Building Optimization method also prioritizes the degree of the situation of faulty settings together with the estimated yearly savings and provides the adequate maintenance and replacement time for each equipment. This is a very fast, efficient, and accurate way of collecting the data and monitoring the equipment, reducing energy use, therefore reducing the carbon footprint. The former method, called the periodic retro-commissioning, allowed Microsoft to check only 1/5 of the buildings at its headquarters campus per year. This means that at some point, equipment will run on a particular setting for 5 years before it is checked again. Due to this reason, the savings could not be optimized, and over time, the maximum possible efficiency of the machine will gradually decrease, increasing the pollution they cause on the environment. While both the methods are currently used, the Smart Building Optimization method saves about US $1 million per year, which is 4 times more than the $250,000 per year saved by the conventional process. Using this result as a basis, Microsoft estimates that this method, once implemented, will reduce energy consumption in buildings by 20 to 25%. One of the largest sources of energy consumption in the world, and in particular in North America, are hospitals, office buildings, and schools, and various other buildings. They represent over 1/3 of the overall energy consumption of most countries, while contributing equally as much to CO2 emissions. Of the total energy consumed, approximately 68% is used for heating, cooling, and providing illumination to the buildings. A further breakdown of the 68% shows the significance that heating and cooling has on the overall energy consumption. Over the past few decades, the technological advancements of building management systems have significantly decreased the overall energy use within buildings. BMS are designed to convey information such as building occupancy and CO2 levels via sensors to allow users to adjust the heating, cooling, or lighting loads to minimize the energy used on the building, based on need. For instance, the system measures and controls the contaminant levels in air to maintain a safe environment for people. To do so, a significant amount of energy is required to treat the outdoor air to dilute the air. Without such a system, the building would be forced to operate continuously supplying fresh air, even when no one is using the space, wasting precious energy. Using various other methods, the BMS provides key information on how to effectively maintain and operate buildings, which makes the BAS an indispensable tool. Without the development of this efficient technology, buildings would be consuming far more than they are today. Assuming only 30% of the world energy use is within buildings, only 60% of that is utilized for HVAC, water heating, and lighting. The BMS only needs to offset the energy use of buildings of the past without a BMS by 11.1% to offset the energy required to supply all the data centers in the world. It is safe to assume that building automation systems have made a far greater impact than 11.1%, most probably improved it by 50% at least.